This just came out. This anybody can go and get the PDF. This was on the 7th. And a lot of people are highlighting this line right here, which does need to be highlighted because it's the number one thing when they're talking about this summary of a terrorism threat in the U.S. homeland. And they talk about the proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions. But really, what we need to focus on is this first sentence, because that's where it goes from just misinformation or disinformation, false information, and conspiracy theories, right? All right? False or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories, but malinformation. What is malinformation? Well, obviously, malinformation is something that you could contest doesn't really exist other than it is harmful to the narrative. In other words, it can be 100% truthful, okay? And one of the things that was featured in the SPARS pandemic document right here was such a thing, and the control of these narratives. And even the societies, including echo chambers, but then the one they like the most. First of all, let's read this. Through social media, these individuals can find both practical information and a sense of community. In other words, right information, correct information. Okay? But they won't focus on what we want them to. Okay? And that's a problem. They'd rather have, where is it? We got to scroll down just a little bit further, I think. This is a big document. They would rather have the UN model. And again, we're all under this, there it is, UN Security Council. That's the one they want right there. Yes, diverse and integrated in a melting pot. Sure. And to really, put it out there again, that they have been tracking, tracing, and databasing us. They've been deep diving on us for years and years and years. I'm going to play a clip from the Infowars.com produced documentary. And by the way, you should go get COVIDland 2 The Mask right now. You want to support that broadcast? You want to support the whole operation and independent filmmaking? You need to go get that picture. Paul Wittenberger has done a great job so far with that series. However, you look at this, and this was produced all the way back in 2010. We're going to be talking about a program that was outed via Hepting versus AT&T.
So it should come as no surprise that they have been tracking, tracing, and databasing our lives for years. Many people are aware that the Bush administration engaged in warrantless wiretaps on American citizens. What they don't understand is that it's come out in court that all the major telecommunications companies have been secretly storing every piece of data received from our phones and our computers and handing them over to the National Security Agency.
You heard about the government secretly listening in on phone conversations without a warrant, but there is evidence that your email is also being tapped. The government has been intercepting most emails as part of its terrorist surveillance program. That program has been criticized as illegal because it's missing an important ingredient: search warrants. Several years ago, Klein says he came to suspect that AT&T had installed secret computer gear designed to spy on internet traffic at the request of the National Security Agency.
This is just a small part of the picture, as AT&T was not the only company involved and emails were not the only issue. The NSA was installing Norris Insight systems, which are capable of monitoring billions of bits of internet traffic per second. It was also able to monitor any calls trafficked through its system, all websites visited, all instant messaging, and separate types of transaction records.
So again, when that revelation came out from Edward Snowden, just understand InfoWars beat them to the punch quite a bit. It continues, okay? And then we'll get into, this gets into the CIA and other agencies and MIAC and why DHS putting that memo out. DHS shouldn't exist. Deutschland Security shouldn't exist.
The secret room at AT&T contains gear which enables the government to look at every individual message on the internet and analyze exactly what people are doing. Here's another document. It mentions a company called Norris. Norris makes computer software that can swallow and analyze 10 gigabytes of information every second. That means it could go through all the information in all the books in the Library of Congress in a little over 15 minutes.
The documents Klein and others were able to produce were then censored by the NSA.
Bankston isn't allowed to talk about the documents in detail. The government has since had them sealed, but he says what is in there boggles the mind.
I want you to think about that right now. They actually had to reclassify documents. Try finding information on this case. Okay, Mark Klein wasn't the only one that blew the whistle. Okay, and even the documentation that had been out there, they said, no. We got to take that back. We got to re-restrict. One of the big revelations from Snowden that I think is important is the fact that he came across documentation that was not only blacked out, right? But it was a completely other document. In other words, your declassified or partially classified version was completely fraudulent. That should alarm you.
We are talking about a substantial portion of all the communications traffic in the United States.
The policies have been shielded by the Obama administration and continue to this day. Attorney General Holder has publicly stated lawsuits be thrown out of court, and after several attempts, Klein and other cases were thrown out as well, once again citing the national security of what used to be a constitutional republic, not a massive corrupt slave state.
Living in the New World Order.
So, there's Mark Dice, and he's talking about the New World Order, also does great stuff. On the other side, we're going to play just a small portion of that. We're going to show you how blockchain technology is literally being promoted by the World Economic Forum to enslave people, not empower you through decentralization. We're not in imagination land. We're coming back. Final segment of the Alex Jones Show. I am Jason Burmis sitting in, and you need to support Infowars.com by going to InfoWarsStore.com right now, getting the supplements or getting some of the great motion pictures they provide so you can wake people up. We'll see you on the other side. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm an idiot. I'm Jason Burmis. It's the fourth hour of the Alex Jones Show. Yes, we're back now. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. Total jackassery on Jason Burmis's part. It happens. I hit the mute button. Doesn't have the red light on it. I get confused really easily. Here's the deal. We're going to play a little bit more of this segment showing you different types of reports, how they've demonized patriots in the past, how this CIA revelation is just an extension of that. We're going to talk a little bit about signature reduction. Again, the military has already ignored posse comitatus. This whole thing is part of what was built post-World War II with Born Classified and tons of compartmentalization, and then using front corporations, and companies to do the bidding of the predator class. So let's get back to this clip. And I want to show people, again, it's not just the CIA, it's not just DHS, it's MIAC, the NSA, it's all of it.
The New World Order that is currently being built revolves around creating a global technopoly ruled by the elite, in which they dominate and control a severely reduced populace, which they treat as their pets. In the New World Order, the people are the enemy. Internal documents released in March of 2009 reveal that the Department of Homeland Security is targeting citizens who discussed the New World Order, people with a Christian identity, or sovereign citizens who argue that the government has gotten away from the intent of the Constitution and are strong states' rights advocates. People who are anti-immigration, stating, extremists will argue that immigrants are taking the jobs of U.S. citizens during times of high unemployment and without paying taxes. People who oppose the Federal Reserve banking system. People who display constitutional party or libertarian material. People who support Ron Paul. And those who have bumper stickers containing anti-government rhetoric. This document is one of literally thousands that make everyone a possible terrorist.
And there it is, the CIA and the New World Order Intelligence Challenges through 2015. Okay, that's a document, again, from February of 2000. So, Alex talked earlier today about how they want a kill switch in your car. Sounds crazy. They never used that. Well, guess what? They just used it. All right? And yeah, it's against a bad guy that probably murdered his parents. Okay, I don't know enough about the case to speak about it too much, but they just logged in and remotely disabled his SUV, and they arrested him right there on the street. There it is right there. Now, I want you to think about that. Now, sure, we want the bad guys, we want the murderers, but look what's going on globally. Look what's going on in Canada right now where they're openly saying these people are white supremacists, terrorists. They're doing the same in this country. Do you want any authoritarian figure to have that type of control or remote access to your movement? I certainly don't. I think that's a bad idea. Call me kooky, okay? And right now what we're going to do is we're going to show the World Economic Forum, again, using a technology, because again, remote access and that type of thing, that can be utilized for good as well. But the blockchain and DeFi, sure, you can empower yourself, but they want to use the blockchain to put you in a refugee camp and impose a biometric slavery grid on you. All right? We'll just lower that. The refugee camp runs the blockchain. A lot of children. See, I rather see children smiling and being happy. Coached my niece's volleyball game last night. A lot of smiling kids. Don't want to see them in refugee camps and tents. Okay? But hey, they're going to be able to shop through a UN program without physical money. That's great. Awesome. And this is why you want the video portion. Hey, look, the same thing they use in Afghanistan to take your biometric iris scan, we're going to use it in this World Economic Forum program because we love you. There it is, right there. It connects you right to your little account because you want to be in a line like a bunch of slaves and refugees after we devastate your country. And it can store your digital identity, your paperwork, your passports, your exam certificates, your financial histories, after we destroy your countries in conflict. All right, we won't say it's us, right? But it's going to be us. Jason, is that malinformation? Is that misinformation? Meanwhile, while they won't tell you that Putin is legitimately threatening nuclear war in the blink of an eye with Europe and saying, back off, United States. What are they saying instead? They're saying he's going to be the cyber attacker in Europe. Okay, he's going to be the cyber attacker in the United States. I'm seeing more and more of that rhetoric globally. All right, see? Oh, it's not just in Ukraine. They are saying Ukraine, but they're saying Europe and the United States. So if blackouts come, it's the Russians. They've done it all. They're the ultimate evil. It's absolutely, astonishingly ridiculous. But that's the narrative they want to portray. Meanwhile, we talk about this technology, whether it's going to empower or enslave us. There's a reason they don't care about these human beings. Number one, they want to get rid of those truckers. They want 5G running what? Automated trucks, driverless trucks. They want robots on the border. Okay, why do you think they're letting everything run amok? Why do you think they don't want law enforcement and military personnel that won't bend the knee? Yes, Homeland Security, again, Deutschland Security, something that should have never existed. We're going to put them in charge of robot dogs on the border? Yeah, that's a great idea. Oh, they'll never be turned against American citizens. And by the way, they show you somebody with a remote control. The technology is so far along. They already have it automated. They already have programs those things can run, and yet even publicly, right? Where it doesn't need a remote control at all. And they will do what they are programmed to do. People should be extremely alarmed about all of this, and yet they're not. Another example of the good old blockchain and cryptocurrency being used to not really empower humanity, in my opinion, but enslave them, is the use of, say, Cardano in artificial intelligence via global healthcare. You're looking at Grace, the sister robot to Sophia. And remember, Dennis Bushnell, head of NASA, the guy behind that document that I constantly go to, the Future Strategic Warfare document that some people haven't accepted as a reality. The one that talks about CNN syndrome, the bio-nano era coming in 2020, that one? Yeah, he bragged that they thought, first of all, he said, there are no jobs in which the robots cannot do. I want to repeat that, just none. All right? But even more chilling is the fact that he said, we thought we needed them in the nursing homes, and this is in 2011 at the Blue Tech Forum, thought we needed them in the nursing homes. We put the robots in, and the people liked them better instead. And there it is. And believe me, they used Grace and other robots like her during the COVID-19 84 nightmare globally. Globally. Now, I want to take this last couple minutes to kind of reflect back at home and on false saviors. Okay? Peter Thiel has announced that he is leaving the board at Facebook, and he is getting behind two candidates that I am constantly seeing on Fox News and being portrayed as people that are going to help us and not hurt us. I am not convinced. Think what Facebook has done with censorship over the last several years and really since its inception. And remember, Peter Thiel was the technology advisor to Trump. And they're portraying this in the media, by the way, that he's leaving Meta, which it now is, Facebook, right, to pursue the Trump agenda. Is that the case? And look, J.D. Vance, he says the right thing. Here he is, he's leaving. And the other gentleman, he says the right things on television too, right? I don't trust Peter Thiel, and neither should you. Peter Thiel is, again, someone not only connected to Palantir and a plethora of other technology companies that are set out to enslave humanity, not empower it, but while companies like Facebook restrict speech, okay, and censor real voices, Peter Thiel wants to meet in backroom meetings via the Bilderberg meeting, where he is a member of the board, okay, one of the actual board members, the guys that go every single year, and he wants private conversations with predator-class billionaires and their minions. Yeah, not cool. Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and what you just watched was a small segment of me hosting the 4th hour of the Alex Jones Show. I should be stepping in for the entire broadcast on Sunday from 4 to 6 Central, so that should be interesting. You can check out all of my stuff, including the whole shebango of that over at rockfin.com. It's another great way to support me if you actually hit subscribe, even though most everything is free of charge. So at least go make that free account. And now in audio form, we're over at the infowarrior.podbean.com, although we do throw up some video exclusives there as well. So please follow me, share the info. I love you, and I'll see you on the flip side.